Good morning, little hoes. My name is Kristen, and welcome back to my channel. First of all, I am not sick. I've just been dealing with some really awful ongoing sinus issues. So this is why I sound so congested, and my eyes are probably kind of crusty. But this is a video I've been meaning to do for a long time, but haven't gotten around to it. I wanted to do an update video on two things. One of them is the Leca cuttings that I did probably a couple months ago at this point, and an update video on the plants that I got from Pepper's greenhouse. And I'm sure you guys will remember that they came in a little bit rough looking, but they're holding their own. They definitely showed signs of the cold stress weeks after I got them, but I think that they will pull through. So yeah, I will start out by showing you the Pepper greenhouse ones. I have one right in front of me. And then move on to the Leca cutting. Alrighty, so here is the Hoya Latifolia I got. And I will repeat myself from that video. I really don't know why I bought a Hoya, because my track record has been very bad with them. But it seems to be doing pretty good. Again, it has, as I like to refer to it, a shit tip. But overall, it's looking pretty good. It looked a little bit stressed when I got it, but it's so far so good. And now let's move on to the bathroom where I have the other two things. Oh, hello, Frederica. Hello. Okay. Oh, just got clotheslined by that plant up there. Alrighty. Okie dokie, little smokies. So this is the Branditianum, or Brandy. And she's got some crispy bits on her. I'd say that she took it the hardest of all the plants. All three, I should say, from Pepper's. And you can see there was quite a bit of cold damage, and some of the leaves have already fallen off, and I'm sure that others will soon follow. But you can tell which leaves are probably going to remain intact and which aren't. The ones that aren't have a definite thin, papery feel to them, while the others are plump and still quite lifelike. But she's holding her own. Like I said, I think as long as the root system gets established pretty good and there's some leaves to soak up light, I should be in the clear. And this guy is what they called like the moonlight or moonshine or something like that, but it's pretty obvious it's a hastatum or hastatum, however you want to say it, the Silversword Philodendron. And this guy has had maybe a couple of leaves turn yellow and die. Again, kind of some foliage I was expecting to fall off. But I will say that this guy is already pushing out new growth and seems really resilient and tough. This is some new foliage since I got it. And this guy just started to pop out in the last couple days. So there's a lot more growth points on this guy, where I do not see any new growth yet on Brandy. So I'd say she took it the hardest. This guy's bouncing back really nicely. But that's my Pepper's greenhouse planty update. I will continue to update you guys as they pull through, I hope. Okay, now for the Leca cutting updates. Just to reiterate what I did, I tried the method of propagating cuttings in Leca, I did this quite a while ago and just haven't gotten to update you guys on it. So I did some Micans cuttings, some Philodendron Micans, some Monstera Adansonii, my beautiful Burl Marks variegated Philodendron, and I believe some Ceropagia sandersonii. Well, the Micans did not care for this method at all, and I don't know if they just weren't in enough moisture or what, but I feel the nodes really push out new roots better in water propagation than they do the Leca. The Ceropagia seemed to be doing okay and then just started to rot, so I don't know that it's entirely the Leca that is the problem. I have a feeling that they might be better plants to propagate just as you would cacti, so sticking it directly in soil, maybe even the moss propagation, using the sphagnum moss, just damp to help stimulate root development, but they did not seem to appreciate the Leca. This guy here, I'll show you what the roots look like. So this guy did quite well in the Leca. My main issue with it is so short that it kept falling out of the Leca. So portions of the plant were sticking up above it and kind of getting dry. So I decided to pull it out and just put it in a glass of water, just because I have been so busy I haven't really had time to monitor them. But you can see it did quite well. All of this, so this portion was already there when I cut it, I believe. All of this up to here was Leca development, including this bit. But ever since I've had it in this glass of water, which I put it in there maybe a week and a half ago, it has now shot out this growth. This is new, as well as this little tip, this little nubby bit developing on the end of the cutting. Okay. So I'll show you guys. This cutting did absolutely nothing. There is no development whatsoever. So I'm not sure. I have a feeling that the cuttings that did happen to touch water started to root, and the ones that were up above that water line in the Leca vase did nothing. Let's continue. So this guy did okay. It's not as much root development as I would have expected. This is, I think, the one that was sort of showing itself from the outside of the vase. And I have propagated the Adansonii from in just water before, and it did take a very long time to get those roots developed. But once they did, they grew really fast and well. In Leca, these guys seem to push out new growth really fast, but again, we're kind of at a stalemate here. I haven't really seen any new length put on this root or side branching in a couple of weeks. This guy is actually very impressive. You got a root happening here, and a whole bunch of little rooties, tooties, fresh and fruities down there. So this one's impressive. So guys, filming, I'm filming back in here because the light's a lot better. I am going to probably rinse out the jar and put the cuttings back in. I'm not sure if I'm going to put the Lekha back in, just because I foresee those maybe breaking the roots. I'm not quite sure how to go about putting Lekha back in a plant that has tender new roots. So far, I'm still rather neutral with the Lekha propagation. I foresee myself giving it another try or two, especially with plants that need a fairly constant amount of moisture, but not necessarily soaking in a cup of water. I do think that I am leaning toward preferring just plain old water propagation though, because one, I don't have to take all those fine, delicate roots out of the Lekha every time I want to inspect them. It's easier to change out the water, and I can kind of monitor what's going on with the root systems better, instead of, like with my Ceropagia, it went from looking good to rotted, and if it had been in just water, I might have noticed it a little bit quicker and been able to do something about it. So yes, I will be giving Lekha another try, but I don't really see myself doing it with very specialty items or ones that don't seem to take well to it, or that I imagine won't take well to it. So that's going to be my little update video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I think that's about it. So I will talk to y'all later. Stay safe, guys, and do I want to say I love you? Is it too soon in the relationship to say I love you? I love some of you. Some of you I don't know well enough to make that claim. But I will say for all of you, stay safe, and I will talk to you later. Bye.